Well, hello. I am back. Let's see if I have the sound going. It looks like it. All right. So I had to take a weird day off yesterday, but this morning I ended up with a problem with one of my eyes, so I have an eye appointment going. But that's the reason I'm wearing my glasses today as opposed to my contacts. Anyway, I have the final head basically done. Other than putting the skin on, I'm going to dye the skin tonight. That came yesterday, and I made the final prototype for the body and traced it out on the final foam. I'm gonna cut that out. I'm also waiting on a Amazon delivery, which should come in the next few minutes, of um, the wig and the glasses, so we can kind of see what he looks like coming up, which is very exciting. So hopefully that'll come while I'm broadcasting, and I can go and grab it. So with was it no further ado, let's get to cutting this pattern out. So this is the same pattern I prototyped before. I'm gonna I made sure to trace it once this way and once this way, and then grabbing a new Persona blade, and I'm gonna cut it out. Okay, so the nice thing about these is that they just cut through it like butter. And I try and keep it straight up and down, so I get a nice non-beveled cut. I really don't know if I should be making it out of the reticulated foam, the dry fast, because it may not be structurally enough. But I'm going to put boning in it, so that should keep it together. I thought about making it out of EVA foam, but I don't know. That's so much harder to work with. It might just be as easy just to put a little bit of boning in it. Trying to save as many of these bigger parts as I can, because this foam is kind of expensive compared to the other foam. You never know what I can make, like noses and ears and hands, out of the bigger cutoffs. Smaller ones I just throw away. There's one. Probably did a bang up job of cutting that out. Oh well. Foam is very forgiving. I may just even that. I cut a little bit too much off of one of these pieces, so rather than cut it out completely again from that's why. Rather than cutting it out completely from scratch again, I'll probably just adjust the other one so they're the same. So since I don't have the skin patterned out yet, I can make adjustments like that. It'll only be a difference of maybe 1/8 of an inch, which it's better for it to be symmetrical than not be. Every time I say that, somebody always says, well, the human body is not symmetrical. If you make it symmetrical, it's not as organic. But I find that just these little errors that creep in are enough to make it just slightly out of symmetry, and it keeps that organic look to it. So there's our pattern. You may notice that the registrations, there's 3 on this one and there's 4 on this one. And I try to make the different registration, the fronts and the backs, different registrations, so that way I don't accidentally glue the wrong side to the wrong side. So this is the back, and you can tell because of that curve there. So anyway, I am gonna glue it, which means I'll open the window. And oh, the other thing that's happened since I was on here last is I had a little accident just after I logged off the last time. And what happened is I got out the foam. I got out the foam piece to cut out this final pattern, and knocked over my soda that was sitting right here. And thankfully, it didn't hit anything. Only thing it did is made the undersheet of this this butcher paper wet. But oh my gosh, it was just rolling everywhere, and I'm grabbing everything off the thing. And I mean, the good news is that all my electronic stuff that I have to shoot these things is all up off the table. So really, the only thing it ruined was the butcher paper, and then I think there was one. What was it that was under the? I think there was one piece of floor mat that was over next to my table that got wet, and I had to throw that out. But luckily, it's diet soda, so it's not going to get sticky or anything like that. But oh my gosh, it was just a big pain at like 11:30 at night, trying to clean up all this stuff without my neighbors hearing me. But anyway, okay, so that was exciting. Let me get some more butcher paper. Since I'll be gluing. It. Should just go outside and use the glue out there, but it's so exciting to see me glue. As all that was happening, I was so worried that I was gonna actually have to redo the whole thing because I just finished up his head, and that's all I need is to completely ruin. So I have to make sure that I remember to put my soda behind me if and when I'm using it. I usually don't have it on the table here with me, but I think I did because I had I didn't have space back there when I was doing it. When these barge cans get stuck, you can hit them with a hair dryer, and they'll loosen up enough that you can get them open. I wouldn't use a heat gun for that, though. You just want to loosen it. You don't want to set fire to your can of barge. So I think I'm gonna put a boning line right in the center of it too, because he does have that pronounced belly, and I'd hate for the outfit to push it down so much it doesn't show it anymore. Okay. I'm going to turn that fan on and air out this room. Okay, it seems like I'm going to go check the front door and see if that package has arrived yet. All right, some packages did come. They seem awfully heavy for what I was expecting, so we'll see what they are. They'll give me a chance to let these dry. So I suspect that this one. This is my first unboxing video, by the way. So we're gonna see what this looks like. I suspect that some of this is Tilly's dog food. So let's see. Oh, what we have in here. Well, as suspected, there's Tilly's dog food. And then here's Ben Franklin's wig. And then this other are probably Ben Franklin's glasses. So I got a 4-pack of glasses here because they had both like the round ones, and then they also had these little Chuck Schumer type looking glasses. So I'll see which ones look better. So let's see what Ben Franklin's gonna look like with his wig. And I think this wig has a bald spot. It does. Which I'm going to cut off. But What I love about this is it's a child-size wig for Ben Franklin. For all those kids out there that are just dying to play Ben Franklin, I guess. All right, here we go. What's nice about it being a child size, is that I'm not going to have to cut too much of it off. You know what? I wonder if I could just fold this in. Oh, look at that. Because there's that styrofoam ball I can just pin into it too, which is great. Probably put it a little bit farther back. Okay, let's try it with the little square ones. You can start to see maybe what he's going to look like. I guess he's starting to look like Ben Franklin. I have to make sure that, I think he needs to go farther back on his head. And with ears too, it'll look a little bit better. This down a little bit. No, that might be too dark, but I don't know. We'll see. Let's see where it goes. I'm happy with it. Best $15 I ever spent. See how he looks with the round ones. I guess I'm set for making a Groucho Marx glasses. Groucho Marx puppet. Maybe a John Lennon puppet. I don't know. I don't know. He's looking pretty good to me. I guess say in the comments whether you like the round or the rectangular glasses. All right, let me put these glasses off to the side. I'll put the body together now. And I'm going to bevel the top and the bottom and add a neck ring and a lower body ring to firm this up quite a bit. I may have to re-glue that. I got so excited about those glasses, I forgot about gluing. I need to... I'm just updating this pattern a little bit because his neck was really pointy in the back, and I want to kind of, for the next time I build Benjamin Franklin here. Okay. Gotta put a little more glue on that. All right, let's see how it goes together. Those ears will help a lot. I keep telling myself, yeah. I think I like the square or the rectangular glasses better than the round ones. But if I had some arms, I'd put them on them, but I haven't made the arms yet. But we'll have two little arms. I think it looks pretty good. Okay, now I am going to wait for that plane to go over. So the next thing I would be doing would be putting that boning in, but you've already kind of seen that process, so I'll do that off camera, I think. I've already done that on the head, so I can take the head apart and pattern the fabric for the head. everywhere there's hair. Okay. So not that I do find this very funny. This child size receding hairline, but it does fit the puppet very well. So I'll have to see if I want to remove this latex headpiece or just fold it. I think I will remove it. You know what? Because I think it'll give me a better. I'll do that right now. As exciting as it is to see me pick a seam, I'm just anxious to see kind of this in the closest to being done. Hopefully this whole wig won't come apart as I think it's sewn separately. So I'm just gonna and then I'll have a latex forehead that I can do something with. It'll also be a little lighter, which is another reason to remove this. That's the thing with a lot of these puppets is wherever you can reduce weight is just going to help with the performance. I've been helping out on a Little Shop of Horrors production that's here in town, and the last couple of days, and the puppets were from different places. But I tell you what, that fourth one is so heavy. I cannot believe that the kid's going to be able to lip sync with 75 pounds of Audrey 2 on top of him. But every little bit, I mean, for the size, I guess 75 pounds is not that much, but boy, it's a beast. So if you can pull out, I mean, I'm not pulling 75 pounds out of this thing, but if you can pull, a few ounces here and there, it's going to just make it better. Let me just make sure, yeah, that's going to stay. I think. Oh, those top wafts. This may not be the best idea in the world. I may want to clip that back in place. I may want to run a stitch along the top of it before I install this, just to make sure it all stays in place. I guess all those people out there who are looking to make Klingon outfits for themselves, Ben Franklin might be a good place to start. Yeah, that's coming completely undone, so I'm going to probably have to sew that up. Yeah. Good thing nobody's watching this. They see what a mess I'm making of this. I almost wonder if I should have just cut away the edge of this and left it intact. Oh boy, that's bad. Okay, well, I think I'm going to leave that back part in place. I think that's what I'll do. So I'm only going to take it up to here. I kind of feel like I should just sew that back on right there. Okay, here we go. So what I'm changing plans. I'm going to leave this part intact on the back because I think it helps his hairline. But I'm going to cut away the sides and just tack those onto the head. It wouldn't be one of my projects if I didn't ruin at least one wig. Although I don't think this is ruined. Oh, somebody's watching. So many glasses. Let's see. Oh, hey, Paul. How's it going? Okay. Doing surgery on Ben Franklin's wig here. There we go. There we go. So, see, this is my new look. Well, maybe it's my current look. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, let me tie down these sides. Okay, so I think I can hide this little bit of rubber that's up here at the top of his head. But I think that'll be a little bit easier than folding it back like I had before. Tell you what, that styrofoam ball inside of his head works great for pinning this into. It is so easy. I don't know what happened to his nose. Okay, you can kind of. All right. There's the beginnings of Ben Franklin right there. So I will now pattern that face, the fabric for the face, and I'll dye the fabric for the face tonight, and then I should be able tomorrow be able to put on the final head. Maybe I'll put his body going on the right way. There we go. There we go. You know what I have? Let's see. So this is something from Crank Anchors. I have no idea what it was. It's like a band leader or Mountie outfit, but I kind of wonder. I know it's the wrong color, but you can kind of start to see it coming together. I think I have some lace here from Lady Elaine I can put on here too. But there we go. There's a great statesman with no arms, Benjamin Franklin. I need to make him a kite. Okay. Get rid of all this rigmarole. I had a hairnet here someplace. You know what? Maybe I should just hang this someplace because. Okay. Well, that build has come together quick. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been a fun little build. He'll be more of a. I think once I get the skin on and the hair, I think there's probably only maybe a day or two left on this build before I send it off to get the costume made. There it is. And usually what I do after I get the oh my gosh, let me shut that window. Okay. After I get the hair and the skin and everything on, then after I get the hair sewn on, I'll style it and basically finish that up so that I don't want to style the hair before I put it on because it's liable to change on me. Okay. So this is just polar fleece. It might be anti-pill, I'm not sure, but stretch is going this way. I need 2 pieces about the same size, big enough to go over the head. Let me do that. I should go over to Joann's and buy whatever colors they have of this left, because I think they're down to 80% off if they're even still in business. Okay. All right, so I got two little pieces. I want the stretch going horizontally. I put that on so that the stretch follows the same as the upper jaw of the mouth. I'll put this down on this level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pinning the first part. I'm just going to pin it right up the front center pin, right into the right up through the center seam, right into the foam. Same on the lower jaw. I kind of want to follow the upper here real quick. So that's the corner of the mouth. I want to go back down the bottom. Oh, that's the wood. That's why I can't go into that. Okay. I'm finding the center seam here. Okay. So then there's gonna, I want to find the center seam on the back. Just right here. Center seam there. And you can start to see the dart starting to happen. And the dart, if this is a dog, I would try and get the dart in such a place that that it could inform where the ear goes. But I just want it to be behind the hairline, which actually this might be his hairline right here. And just put that all in. Put a pin in that dart. Now, this is where a lot of people stop. They basically just do the one side, and they're like, that's close enough. I'm also going to have a dart down here. It looks like under his chin. So I'm going to put that into his neck. Into his neck. And then I'm going to find his little dimple here. And then his chin is right down here. Okay, so a lot of people stop right here. This is as much as they do. They just mark up this side, and then they'll call it the pattern, and it kind of works. Although I like to be with a little bit more meticulous, I guess. And I'll do the other side as well. And there's a dart right here. Well, we'll see. I may want to try and get rid of that dart. And sometimes you can ease it out. And it looks like I'm going to be able to do that. I think I'm going to put it in the back of his head here where nobody will see it. You can kind of move the darts around a little bit. You just are trying to get all that extra material out of there. Okay, so now I'm going to do the other side. I know the stretch is going to go that way. Lay it on just like I did the first one. And now I'm going to take this pin out, and I'm going to pin the two pieces together to give it that tension between the two pieces. And do the same on the front. So what I'm doing is pulling that out and just putting it back in so that it pins those two pieces together. Okay, now I'm going to trace the upper and lower jaw like I did on the front. And I'm going to do the same thing I did on the upper jaw on the lower jaw here. So I'm just pinching it together. You don't want to stretch it too much, but you want it to be tight. Okay, do the same thing here. I'm basically just trying to find that center line. And I'm also trying to make sure that I get all the wrinkles out. Okay, so now put that dart in. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the back now. I know this is hard to see. Okay, so I'm going to put that in. Okay, I'm going to try and massage that dart in right about where the other one is. Put a pin in to keep it in place. Okay, on the front, I'm going to run this. If you're going to use this fleece for the actual final, you are going to use one up that is not the right. I mean, you're going to just destroy this piece right here. So you'd never be able to use this one as your final. But you want to make sure, see how I use this side on this and I use this on the other, and there's a different texture. That's because I used one, there's a right side and a wrong side of this type of fleece, and I didn't pay attention to that when I was doing it. So if you are using this for your final fabric, you want to make sure that you match up the two sides so that you don't end up with a fuzzy side and a smooth side. And if you're using something like F3 fleece or Antron or Nyla fleece, something like that, there's a very obvious right and wrong side. Okay, so last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and figure out. I don't like to have to sew on a neck. I may have to sew on a neck. Oh, wait, I'm missing a dart on this side. Okay, let's see. There's a dart here. I want to try and match on this side. They don't have to be exact. You just want the darts basically in the same place, and it'll all even out. Okay, I'm gonna put one more pin in here at the neck. Okay, so I usually don't like to have to sew a neck. I did a bang up job here. Let's see. Yeah, let me fix this. Sorry. Okay, that's kind of right now. Okay, they don't have to match up exactly, but you want to make sure that you have them as close as you can, and you want the fabric to be tight. Okay. And you also, when doing the darts, you kind of want to try and avoid having too many darts that are like right on the face, because those are hard to hide. But if you have to, you have to. Sometimes you put them in right here so that you kind of hide it there, or you try and put a dart under the eyebrow line if there's a rigid eyebrow, or up in the hairline. You can do it. Again, on dogs, a lot of times I'll put it right here so that I know, so the ears are in the same spot on both puppets. But I mean both sides. But it's kind of one of those things that you kind of learn as you do it more. Anyway, I usually try to incorporate the neck into the head pattern, if I can. So basically, I just want to not pinch this. And because the stretch is going this way, you're able to make it tight there, so you don't have a bunch of extra material in the neck. And I'm going to add, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about 2 more inches to this pink at the bottom when I do to this pattern at the bottom. So that way it has a little bit longer neck to it. Okay, so now he's more or less patterned, believe it or not. Okay, so now I take a pen and I'm going to draw along all the pin lines here, all the way around. And then you trace around where the mouth is. And I think I'm going to leave that a little loose at the lips to make them a little bit older looking, I think. But I can always cut that out if I need to. I trace around the dart. The other dart. Oops. Try and trace in the right spot. There we go. Add up like that. I'm going to go up and around. Okay, and then I'm going to do the other side. And don't think you have to do it this fast. I'm doing it fast because I have done this a bunch. But, you know, slow it down. And if it doesn't work, I mean, you're not out the expensive, you know, fleece. You're just out this garbage fleece, and you know, it's easy, or blizzard fleece. Sorry, you're just out the blizzard fleece, and you can always do it over if it didn't quite work right. And really, the biggest thing that is helpful is make sure you get the stretch in the right place. You kind of want this. You want the stretch to be going sideways here, but you also kind of want to have it so that it's going sideways here, and basically you're aiming to, if you can get a 45-degree angle here at the mouth. Usually the mouth is open more than this one. This one's kind of a shut mouth puppet. I don't know how that happened exactly. But if you're able to get this fabric here kind of at a 45, the grain of it going like at 45, you'll get those little Muppet smile lines at the corners of the mouth. So, all right. So, the last thing I need to do is I need to put my registration marks in. And how you do that is you put a pin through the seam so it comes out on the other side. And then you draw a line here, and then where it came out on the other side here. And then you just do that over and over again all the way around till you have marked. Oh, somehow I guess that came undone, but that's okay. You want to be able to basically know that those line up on both sides, and the pin helps you figure that out. You can do it on the darts too, although I have a tendency not to use them, and it's harder because they're not a one-to-one. Like, you don't really know that they're symmetrical at this point, so those darts will probably be useless. But it is good to mark darts if you think you might be able to use them. I personally don't ever seem to be able to use them, so there's that. As I said on the foam one, it's like you kind of want to put double registration marks in a couple spots just so that you know that you don't accidentally sew the front to the back. I mean, or two lefts to each other or something. Okay, so these are my registration marks. I've gone all the way around. Okay, now I'm going to take out all these pins. And whenever I go to take these pins out, not these pins especially, but when I'm like doing wig work or putting the final skin on, I always try to make sure that I pull out all the pins, because I always think about this quilt that my parents got when I was a kid from my grandmother, and she had gotten it from the local church. They'd had like a quilting bee, and all these ladies were sitting around making these quilts, and my grandmother bought one for my parents for Christmas, and they put it on their bed. And at one point, my brother or I know I did it at one point. My brother did it at one point, I think. We jumped on that bed and got stuck by a pin because they had not taken all the pins out of this quilt. I think we ended up pulling out 4 pins, and they were embedded in the folds. I think my mom had to go in and cut the heads off, and then we could pull the wire, the metal part out, so we would get stuck all the time. But I always think of that, and I'm like, I don't want some poor puppeteer getting stabbed because I forgot to take a pin out. So I'm always very paranoid about it. Okay. Gee, gray hair. Where'd that come from? Okay. So now, let me clean up this area a little bit. And my glasses. It's good to have a couple extra pairs of these glasses. I'm sure I'll be able to use them for something. They're actually very similar to the ones I got for Strange Pork, but I got 4 pairs for I think $7. Again, for all those kids out there that want to be Benjamin Franklin for Halloween. And then I also have this nasty forehead. I'm almost tempted to try and make a mouth plate out of it, but I think it's too flimsy for that. I'll probably just throw that away. Okay, so these are the two patterns that I just made. And they're very similar, but not quite exactly the same. Oh, there's still a pin in there. They're not quite exactly the same. So I got to cut both of them out. So I finally sold my first pattern on my website, which is exciting today. And I think I'm going to add the Tilly practice puppet pattern up next, which those are the ones I sell at the conventions that are basically kid-sized. But as far as I know, no kids actually use them. They're always adults use them. So I think that, number one, if the pattern's available, then people can blow it up however big they want. And also, I can offer it for a lot less than I charge to actually build them and sell them at conventions. I sell them at conventions for like $125. I was thinking maybe the pattern for like $40. Okay, there's one side of his head. And see, can't you tell that's Ben Franklin? Boy, it would be nice if I actually had this on camera. There we go. There's Ben Franklin. Oops. I'm trying to keep this on camera for you guys. So this is the reason why I try and keep it symmetrical. I say this over and over again. You've probably heard it before. But the reason why I try and keep this symmetrical at this stage, or as symmetrical as I can, is, number one, you introduce the asymmetry just because your hand's not symmetrical, while you're operating it. So it does take it a little bit out of symmetry, but it makes it so much easier to make the the fleece covering and the head if you can true it up first. It's just like if you're making a pattern that's not symmetrical for the fleece covering, you now have to make sure that you flip the pattern correctly so you don't end up with the wrong side on the wrong, the wrong side of the fabric on the wrong side of the head, and a bunch of other issues that you kind of get rid of if you just go to this one little step. Okay. Get out my file folder. I'm going to add like 2 inches to the bottom of this. So I do that, pin it in. So I'll move it in place so that you can see what I'm doing here. Now, when I made this, I tried to make it symmetrical. I tried to get that down the center line. You guys saw me do it. I tried to get the darts in the same spot. I tried to get the mouth in the same spot. If I had just patterned one side, that would be the shape of the pattern that I had for the head, which might work, may not, but we'll see right now how different one side is from the other. Okay, so I'm going to take a blue pen, and I had a red pen the other day, but I just don't see it right now. Guess I'll use an orange pen. Ah, there's a red pen. Okay, so I got a blue pen and a red pen. I'm going to take the blue pen. I'm going to mark all my darts. And the darts I probably won't use. I'm going to add some more material down here at the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to trace all the way around. Seems like a really small mouth. We'll see, I guess. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to take this other side, which is the side this is the right side of it. I'm going to take the pen and I'm going to mark all these darts over on the other side. Just putting my thumb on there, and then I'm just transferring the tick mark over to the other side. Okay, so now on this side, I've got all my tick marks. Okay, so now I'm going to take this. I'm going to line up the tick marks as much as I can. I may not be able to exactly, but I can kind of get close. And already you can kind of see how different this side of the pattern is from the front. Even though I tried really hard to make it down the center, tried to make them symmetrical, but it didn't work out. So I got those tick marks reasonably close, some reasonably closer than others. Actually, not at all. Let's see. I think like that is going to do it. Okay, so now I'm going to put all these in. Wait, that doesn't look good. Okay, so there's that. And these, having something that you can pin into like this makes it so easy. So easy compared to trying to do it just on your hard surface. And I'm using Plastizote. You don't have to use Plastizote. I just use it because I have it. Piece of bulletin board material, piece of corrugated cardboard. Usually you need a piece of foam core. I usually have to do about 2 pieces of foam core or 2 pieces of corrugated cardboard kind of glued or taped together so you can pin right into it. But okay, so I'm going to take the red pen. I'm going to mark all my tick marks again, even though they don't correspond at all. Well, this one does. Okay, so and this one kind of does. Okay, I'm going to trace all the way around again. I'm using a different color. It doesn't have to be red, doesn't have to be blue, but it should be 2 different pens, 2 different color pens. You can even use a pencil and a ballpoint if you don't have 2 different color Sharpies. I'm going to take that down to longer space, and then I got all these pins. Okay, so now I have the 2. Get rid of this. wish I could figure out something to do with all these wire these brad things that are on the side, because I mean they seem kind of useful, but I haven't really found any way to use them. Okay, so now I'm just going to do this because usually I just cut the lines kind of averaging the distances between, but because I'm showing it, I'll do it. So I'm going to put a black mark between each of the tick marks. And again, those probably aren't going to be useful. But okay, now I'm going to have the difference between the red and the blue where they go. So as I go around here, so if I had just traced these two patterns onto the fabric, yeah, they probably would have fit. The center line would not be in the center. Center line would not be straight, and it'd be harder to hide because of that. And you'd have to make sure that you remember to have the one side, the right side on the right, and the left side on the left, and the inside on the inside, and the outside on the outside. And I don't need all that extra stress, so I don't worry about it. And now all I have to do is cut out the black line and then the registration marks, and I'll have a trued up symmetrical pattern. So let me do that real quick. And when you're doing these the black midpoint registration, make sure they're really long because you want them on the inside of the pattern when you're done. I love how angry I sound. I want people to get the best results they can, you know? And make sure you're not using your sewing scissors, as I say over and over again, because once you cut paper or cardboard with your sewing scissors, they're now your paper or cardboard scissors. Now, if you're hand sewing, this would be the exact size that you do. You make the final one. If you're using a machine, you want to add some seam allowance. Also, okay, this is the mouth. This is a dart. This is a dart. This is the neck. This is the Ben Franklin fleece pattern times 2. Today is, I believe, the 11th. Yep. 25. And I think that's labeled now. That's the pattern I'm going to use. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to make a test pattern or just hope I did it right. I think I did it right. I don't think I really need to do a test pattern. But what I would do with the test pattern is I would use this polar fleece, and I would trace it onto the fabric, and then I just machine sew up all the darts and all the center lines, and then feed it on here like a sock to see if it fit, and if I have to make any adjustments. I kind of think this is going to work. You can see how that's all going to hit the center line and do pretty well. And there is a little bit of stretch to the fleece, but like I said, I don't have my. I'm gonna throw this away. It's grossing me out. I don't have my F3 dyed yet, so I'm gonna dye that now, I think, and then let it dry overnight. And then tomorrow I'll put the head on, and then sew the wig on, and figure out what I'm gonna do for the eyes, and then his head will be done, and then I'll probably make his arms. Maybe I'll make his arms later tonight. So anyway, thanks for joining me on this little voyage into the history of Benjamin Franklin's puppet. And I will see you next time. If I can find the way out. Come on. Oh, I'm not seeing my mouse at all. I may. Oh, maybe. Well, okay, I'm going. Maybe.